In our consumer alert, Nestle is recalling 3 batches of edible chocolate chip cookie dough tubs because they may contain soft plastic film. The batches were produced from August 1st to August 3rd and sent to retailers across the U.S. The company says that there are no reports of illnesses or injuries. People who bought the product should return them for a replacement or refund. You can find more information on the FDA's website. Well, one guaranteed way to beat inflation is growing in popularity, so much so that demand actually crashed a government website. And now the Treasury Department has issued a new rate for Series I bonds, meaning that you can still get a great return on those inflated protected bonds, but should you consider them? Jen Sullivan has more on what experts say about this type of investment, including 3 possible downsides.
A silver lining for investors amid historic inflation? Series 1 savings bonds.
But there are people in the economy who aren't doing well. They're actually profiting from this.
Experts say the interest rates that you earn are fantastic due to the Federal Reserve's repeated moves to cool the economy and lower inflation. Analysts say demand has gone up tremendously because the I-bond is protected from inflation and it offers a safe return.
So if you want to put some money into a fixed income asset that is inflation protected, I-bonds might be a great strategy for you.
The Treasury Department has announced a new rate, saying it will pay 6.89% through April of next year. That's down from the bond's previously historic high of 9.62 rate, which caused demand to explode last month, briefly causing the Treasury website to crash.
The Treasury said from November of 2021 till October 28th, when the deadline for that 9.62% rate expired, $35 billion in money flowed into I-bonds. So that's people with money.
Experts say if you decide to invest in these bonds, here are some possible downsides that you should consider. 1, you can't cash it out for at least 1 year. 2, it takes 5 years to get the total amount of interest. 3, the incentive might be short-lived because the rate could come down as the Fed continues to take action. And experts remind you to invest wisely.
So I like to tell folks, don't invest any money that you don't need for at least 10 years.
For today's Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
Jen, thank you. And the Powerball lottery jackpot has climbed to another record high. Officials said the grand prize is now up to $1.9 billion. It's billion with a B after no tickets matched all 6 numbers drawn on Saturday night. And the last time someone won the jackpot was August 3rd. The next drawing, though, is tonight. And sandbagging operations are underway in Florida as subtropical storm Nicole takes aim at the Sunshine State's east coast. The storm is expected to pass the Bahamas on Wednesday and approach the U.S. coast by Wednesday night. Florida officials are warning people to be on the lookout for heavy surf and higher than normal tides as the storm nears.